That's the house. That's the house I grew up in on North 9th Street in Terre, Haute, Indiana, back in the 1950s and 60s. It's also the house that I met so many of the kids that I grew up with and that graduated from Garfield High School in 1967. One of the first was Ron Agresta. He and his family had moved across the street from his son Lyndon, and there we are playing ping pong down in the basement. Here out in the front porch, Skip Morton and me, we were soldiers. We were Cub Scouts. This is my 13th birthday in the basement. You might recognize a lot of the kids from Garfield High School there. Well, they're all from Garfield. Became Garfieldites. There's another view. That's my cousin Joel Wolfley up front, and Skip and... Okay, here we go. There's Susan Birchfield and me in the front. Deanna Stapleton, Janine Swander, and that's Chartram. Now, Susie Fuquay was in our class then, but she went on to graduate in '66. Libby White. There's my cousin Joel again, cousin John Wolfley. Down the side, there's Joey Bukovac on the top, Skip Morton in the middle, and Ron Agresta on the bottom there. Now, this was the first party I had, first big party. It was in junior high school. All those kids I knew from junior high at the time. There were only two that went on to graduate from Garfield in '67, and that's Martha Rawlings on the side and Bobby McLaren. It's kind of a blurry picture, but back then, what happened in around where we lived, everybody was getting gas furnaces, so they got rid of their coal furnaces and turned their basements into a recreation room of some sort. We put a bar in. A lot of parties in there. My parents had a lot of parties as well. There's Becky Robertson and Carol Turner. You can't see her face, but it's Carol Turner talking to Les Morton, my future stepdad. Now here's Larry Gallagher, Lowell Touchton, me, Ron Agresta, and Mike Turner sitting around the card table there, the poker table in the corner there by the bar. Of course, only in Terre Haute will people know what that means. That's Helen Billing and Carol Turner underneath their street sign in the what used to be the coal room is now the pool room. There I am chalking up and getting ready to take my first shot of the day. Maybe my second, I don't know. We used to put a ping pong table on there, and there's Larry Gallagher and Janie Buhas playing with Ron and his girlfriend Sandy Mellinger, I think. If you look over her right shoulder, you see there's a hallway back that way, and that is the back of our house where we dug the fallout shelter. That was a very famous fallout shelter for the class of 1967. There I am with my cousin John and Les out there. And there's the inside of that fallout shelter, which obviously we never used. Our parties always had somebody stacking on top of each other. You know, Bobby McLaren, Linda Allen, Tom Torrens, Helen Billing, Carol Turner, and Martha Rawlings. They can't see their faces very well. Another party, another stack. Jan Spence, Becky Robertson, Jane Gallagher, Lowell Touchton, Larry Gallagher, and me. We seem to like to jump on top of each other for some reason. Well, there's Jan Spence and I don't know what we were doing. It wasn't a very happy-looking picture, was it? Speaking of climbing on each other, here's Tim Nichols on top, me, and Lowell Touchton on the bottom. That's out beside the house on Linden. There's Tim Nichols on the left and Max James on top, and Lowell Touchton again. And it's odd they're playing football with no ball, you know. That was kind of funny. There's Mark Herring and another friend of mine from the neighborhood. I can't remember his name. Out by my 1965 Chevrolet. Larry Gallagher and I sitting on it, posing, obviously. And there's Ron Agresta's house across the street, the first house when I met him. And there's Larry bathe in front of the house again. And we must have been in the mood to pose that day. Of course, our basketball team at Garfield, we did very well. We won the sectionals, we won the regionals, and went on to the semi-state, and just by a point missed going to the state finals. Now, a lot of people don't remember this. Maybe not. Food for Thought. It was a magazine that a bunch of us put together, and well, I think it cost a dime once it came out, and it was just a silly newspaper we decided to make. This is the Food for Thought staff members. I think we got those carts at Kroger. I'm pretty sure we asked for permission before we took them. There's Ron Agresta, Larry Gallagher, Marty Moore, Jim Terre, he was the editor, Danny Calicod, Tom Torrance, and me. That was the Food for Thought staff. However, when it came time for the basketball and the playoffs, we were going to the sectionals first. So this team decided that they would dribble the basketball down to Indiana State, where we were playing the ball game. And I guess they did. And that's Marty Moore, Don Mediate. Next is Tim Nichols. There's Jim Terry again. Tom Torrance. And Ron Agresta. Larry and I couldn't do that because we were at the game. We were on the floor. Larry, of course, was playing, and I was the manager, keeping rebounds and assists. Speaking of assists, look what we had here. This was our junior prom, actually. That's Ron Agresta and his date, Mary Lou, somebody. There's Skip and Carolyn Irish. There's Helen Billing and Mark Houston. We lost Mark in Vietnam. There's my date, Chris Bennett. She was from Marshall, Illinois. Now here is Tim Nichols and me out shining my car. You can see Collett School back there. That was right behind my house. I literally ran out the back door across the alley, and I could get to school in less than a minute. There's us still cleaning up the car for the senior prom. There we are down in the basement making our phone calls, and there are the girls. There are a lot of pizza on the table. We must have had dinner that night. There's Larry, Jane Buhaus Gallagher, Larry Gallagher. There's Ron Agresta with the girl I just mentioned, Mike Turner and Lana Beasley, me and Linda Neese, and there's Lowell Touchton and Becky Robertson Touchton soon, and a lot of. All right, I'm so confused. Here we are. This is the senior prom pictures. That was Lowell and Becky, and here's Jenny and Larry. There's Max, and I don't remember her name. Tim Nichols, and I can't remember this girl's name. She was, I think, a year behind us. There I am with Linda Neese. That was, there we are off to the, up to the cars to head for the prom at Terre Haute House. Of course, it came time for graduation. There we are, kind of clowning around the front yard. And there's our graduating class of 1967 Garfield High School. Yeah. Well, the house I grew up in, we had a little going away party for one final party. They sent me off to the Air Force. There's Linda Neese and I are cutting my cake with the airplanes on it. One last Elvis song for him, and I was gone. The house I grew up with on North 9th Street is now this house. It looks pretty much the same. Porch has changed. As you see in the back, there's no more Collett School. There's the old picture. And no more Collett School. The kids can't run across the alley anymore. But that's the house I grew up with and the fun I had in it. Thanks for watching.